the costs of creating more housing. That's it, because they can't do this if you do that. If you allow like expansion by helping ease regulations and ease up all these, dude, none of this would be happening if the government wasn't involved. That's like the most annoying shit about this. Is none of
Leaflit, how do you think they're gonna lower the cost of housing? What the fuck are you talking about, man? What does the cost of housing have to do with what Hassan said? And how are you gonna do that by getting the government out of the housing market? If that's the case, then why are there so many houses? And why are there so many homeless people? Why are there so many empty houses, Leaflit? Because I thought that it was the free market that did all this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the communist government that we live on. Welcome back to J-Star. We're reacting to Leaflit.
the threats are real. They want
This video is called, They Want to Kill Him. And apparently it's about Nick Shirley. Let's hear
kill
it.
us. And this one was recently posted by Nick, so we'll take a look at it.
All right,
So,
Nicholas.
the threats and the risk are actually very real. In fact, today, April 27th, is a day that I'm supposedly supposed to die according to a threat made on the internet.
All right.
In fact, it's a photo of me in a ditch with a decapitated head that says, "This is gonna be you on April 27th, 2000."
Yeah, that's not what that picture is. I don't know what that picture is. It looks like a war, but it looks like World War I, maybe? I don't know. That's an old-ass picture.
2026 in a muddy ditch alongside the highway with your mother. Enjoy your last couple of months, buddy.
Look, I'm not laughing at the threat. Okay, that's not that's not a funny thing. Okay, that is like not okay. Okay, that's like serious. It's just, it's so obviously like look. Okay, I'm not a big creator. Nick Shirley is unfortunately giant. Okay, he has a lot of eyes on him. There is a lot of animosity towards conservatives and like administration defenders and whatnot, and that's understandable. But that kind of thing, that like death threat, like a death threat like that, or any death threat is inexcusable. Okay, I stand on that, no matter who you're directing it towards. But anyway, like I've gotten death threats. I've gotten more serious death threats than that, Nick. Come on. Come on, they send you a fucking World War I photo? Like, I'm gonna kill, you're gonna be like this dead person in this photo. That's just kind of ridiculous that you're taking that seriously. That's why I was laughing. Okay, it's not that, it's not that death threats like that aren't a serious thing. It's just that he's calling attention to it. I mean, maybe there's more. Maybe that's why. But like, if that's your big reveal, like I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Okay,
So
we're like
I
30
share this
seconds in. Though.
Not to scare people, but to more so.
Of course, it is to rile people up. Like, it's the whole like leftist terrorist thing. Okay, the leftists are the real violent.
Show them what it's actually like, kind of being in the political climate, not just seeing it from the outside, but being someone who's actually living through it.
Yep.
Especially with the last assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
The threats are real, and you do have a small percentage of the country.
Okay, come on, man. That was fake. That was obviously fake. Independent journalist, my ass, bro. Are you kidding me?
1% that has gone radical. And now I'm not sharing this stuff with you guys to make you guys scared for me. More so, I am just sharing this so you guys can actually understand what it's actually like living in the political climate. A lot of you guys.
He said 1% have gone radical. I don't agree with that. Okay, first of all, if you're making death threats, you're not just a radical. Okay, you're an insane person. Okay, you've gone off the deep end. Okay, we aren't at civil war yet. We aren't like shooting each other in the street. Okay, we're still Americans. That's crazy. That's crazy to say that. Okay, that like 1% is doing death threats. I don't think so. But even then, a lot more than 1% of people in general are radicals on one side or the other. Okay, because we are living in an increasingly polarized political climate.
See it from the outside.
This is an amazing video, because I also try to put this into words, because I've experienced similar things myself, and I hope this helps you understand just like kind of what is going on right now. Like,
okay, yeah, dude, we're content creators. You're a lot bigger than me. You have 1,000 times the subscriber count that no, more than that. You have like A lot more than that. I get death threats. I get people telling me that I belong in prison. I should be in a fucking concentration camp, okay? It's crazy what people say. But it's not like a oh, woe is me moment, okay? Just like delete it if anything. Okay, if it's like really bad, like delete it. Okay, I like to leave as many of them up as I can, okay, depending on the language that they use. Just because I do want people to see it. Like, I want people to see it. You know, it's real shit, okay? People be saying that. And, I think people should know that right-wing people are saying that shit, okay? So I leave it up. You know, if you want to see me in a concentration camp, that's just, like, your opinion, I guess. So, you know, marketplace of ideas and all that. But anyway, just like fucking forget about it. Just move on. It's not newsworthy. More news at 11. Okay, death threat. Yo, content creators get death threats. More news at 11.
Like they're super violent and unhinged in the things that they say, and they know 100% why they're doing it. They want to make you uncomfortable. They want you to stop. They want you to think. And you know, everyone thinks this too. I'm sure Nick Shirley has thought this. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a more. There we go. Give you a little bit more of a flattering freeze fan before I yap a bit. But that's what they want to happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people that say stuff like that, they want you to be afraid. It's not even really that they want you to stop. Okay, if you stopped, then who would they harass? You know, I have habitual harassers. It doesn't matter if I ban them. It doesn't matter. They come back with a new account. It doesn't matter. Okay, I already have people like that, and that's just kind of the way it is. You know, it's the unfortunate. It's the unfortunate reality. I don't want it to be this way. I hope that it isn't this way forever, but that's the political climate that we live in right now, man. So, just like, the best thing to do with these guys is ignore them. Okay, that's it. You know, you could argue that, like, I technically don't ignore them because I don't go out of my way to delete their shitty comments, okay? Like, oh, I want you to fucking be silenced forever. Like, you know, yeah, alright, well, that's like somewhat, maybe that's a straw man, I don't know, but like, it's kind of correct, okay? Like, I don't delete the stuff, and therefore I am kind of drawing attention to it, but I think it's important. I think it's an important part of politics today to like see people that say shit like that and do that, but to like make a video about it and to be like, oh, woe is me, oh, they're saying terrible things, oh, like, yeah, that was shit. You're on the fucking internet, man.
They want you to be afraid. They want you to think to yourself,
crying about?
Is this worth it? Am I that person? Right? And I'm sure Nick Shirley has thought this to himself as well. You know, Nick Shirley will be brave on camera. Undoubtedly he will. I'm willing to bet that deep inside he's thought about that. Deep inside he's thought, is this worth it? Is what I'm doing right now worth it? Like, is it worth it to live this life where I'm afraid all the time that I could be killed at any point by one of these psycho people? By the way, whom the left hails as heroes. The people on the left that have done or attempted these things. The left has pedestalized them as heroes. Like Mangione, for instance. The idea that there could be people that they're creating.
Okay, it's not that. That's not accurate. That's not accurate because it's not just the left that are glorifying the violence that Luigi Mangione allegedly engaged in, and we don't know that it was him. We do not know. You do not know that, Leaflit. Okay, that's fucked up that you would say that. He could be innocent. And, I mean, obviously, I'm joking, like, he probably did do it, okay, for real. But, like, but you don't know that, though. And, you know, if I'm being completely honest, and I've said this before, I think it was multiple people, okay? I think multiple people did it. They all looked alike. That was intentional, okay? Luigi was just the fall guy. Okay, that's it. I don't
a
think
breeding ground for copycats who want to be hailed, who want to be heroes. You know, pedestalize them. You know, they're vile actions.
Oh, yeah, but anyway, right-wing people put Luigi on a pedestal, too. Of course they do, and so do centrists. It's not like, ooh, the radical leftists that are like, parroting this idea that Luigi is an anti-hero. The reason he's an anti-hero in a lot of people's minds is because this healthcare system that we live in, that we experience on a daily basis, is brutal. It is unfair. It is exploitative. All for the wealthiest, the richest of the rich in this country. All for them to profit. At our expense. And the stakes are so high. You know, it's our lives we're talking about. It's our healthcare. Literally. And they're killing us for it. So there is a ton of animosity towards people that work at these companies, and, you know, that's unfortunate because I blame the capitalist. I blame the shareholders. Not even the corporate officers. They, of course, I want to hold them responsible for the decisions they make as well. But it's just, it is what it is, man. Like, the capitalists, they hold most of the blame, but they will never, ever be punished for it. They will never be named by the media. It's disgusting.
You know, it could happen to you too, right? And I've had myself think about this like several times. Like, you know, my life is like doing better. You know, do I really want to do this? Do I really? And it's not just like me too, right? And this is the problem. Is it's not just a matter of, do I want to keep doing this? Am I strong enough for this? You start to think, do I want them to come after my family, right? Because that's what it comes down to. Do I want them to come after my family and my friends as well? And then that's where it starts to get, like, the calculation starts to get really, really muddy, right? Where you're like, maybe I should stop. Maybe I shouldn't do this because I don't want to bring, you know, danger to the people I care about, to the people I love.
Wait, yeah, come for me. That's what I say. That's what I fucking say. You dipshits that are watching me, like, frothing at the mouth. Oh, J-Stars. Oh, he's gay. He's woke-tarded. Oh, I gotta kill him. Like, come over here, bro. You'll get blasted. You'll be dead. Like, you'll be, like, dead if that happens. So, like, I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Come and find me. I'll see you coming a mile away. And then, when you get close enough, and there is no turning back, I will blast you in the face. That's it.
You remember how I said they hit you? They hit you where it matters, right? Because if they keep hitting me and I keep not caring, they're going to escalate to find what does hurt me. Luckily, if you're anonymous, no. These people can, that's not true. These people can find you no matter what. Don't ever think that any sort of, like, perceived anonymity is safe. It's not. It's really not. But the point that I don't want to talk about that, right? Like, the point is, you think about it, you're like, is it really worth it? You think about that on the second layer, and that's what they want.
Yeah, I mean, you're approaching territory that I would shy away from. You know, there's a reason that I don't ever bring this up myself, my own volition. It's because she's correct about this. Like, like, the thing is, I don't want to go into any more detail than what she is. Normally I wouldn't even think about going this far. But she is correct. It is easy to find out where your favorite content creators live. It's not that hard. I hope she doesn't go into more detail. That would be crazy, but she probably
They want you to feel that. They want you in your gut to be unsure. They want you to feel like, is any of this worth it, what I'm doing? Is this worth the danger that I'm putting myself in? They create that situation. It's the point. It's a tactic. It's the terrorist tactic that they're using, actually. And I really want to hear what Nick Shirley has to say about it as, like, you know, kind of a new person entering the field. Because, like, you know, this happened really fast for Nick, right? Compared to a lot of us, the rest of us. This happened really fast for Nick, where nobody knew about him, and boom, he's now, like, target number one. He's now, like, drawn aggro from everybody, right? So it'd be really interesting to see, like, what he has to say about it. And it's a little bit selfish of me, but I really want people to understand the kind of shit that they do to us. The kind of shit that they do to people like us. Because if it weren't me, it would be you. And it's gonna be the next person. The next person that stands up is gonna be them too. And every single person that stands up, they're always gonna target. They're always gonna target us, like, all the time, you know? Ace, thank you so much for the 100. Sorry. These radicals are legit psychopaths who believe that they're taking they act like they're the ones that act like fascists. It's actually insane. They keep saying fascists, but this is how fascists actually act. They're brain broken completely and they want you dead because the world would be a better place without you in it. Yeah.
No, it's not how it is how fascists act, sure. But it's not fascism. Fascism is an ideology, Leaflit. It's an ideology that seems to scarily line up with your worldview. Huh, interesting.
And for every person, you know, they're gonna keep doing it. It is a shitty situation even if you bend the knee, you're still a target. But now, one that they need to drag through the mud to prove servitude in the end. Then winning will make your family a target anyway. No, that's not true. If you disappear and you become ineffective.
Like, basically, what I'm saying is, she is substituting the word, like, authoritarian or, like, terrorism with fascism, and that's just not accurate. Okay, because doing terrorism, doing authoritarianism, that's not fascism. Okay, fascism is an ideology. You could call it terrorism, right? When leftists send you death threats, that would be somewhat accurate. It is kind of terrorism. Actually, it is definitely terrorism. It might not be like what people typically think of when they think of terrorism, but it is that. Okay, it's not fascism though. Not even
on to
close.
the next person. So 100%, like if I stop streaming now, like right now, I guarantee you I would be more safe. If I stop streaming, stop making videos like tonight, and I just disappeared off the face of the internet, they would stop attacking me. 100%. They would go after someone else.
And furthermore, I think the reason why she calls stuff like this fascism is because it muddies the waters. Okay, because she knows that fascism obviously lines up more with the right-wing perspective, because that's what it is. It's extreme right-wing ideology. That's what fascism is. Okay, if you disagree with that, then you are wrong. Okay, you're just wrong.
It's more effective for them to go. They call it a victory. They probably make a happy video about it, or people will make happy videos about it. They'll make happy posts. They'll be glad, but it would definitely stop. I think it would. We love your Leaf. You know what they're doing, and you know how to defend yourself. You're not being selfish at all. Well, I mean, it is, because I'm trying to explain it to you guys, and you guys don't really need to know. You don't need to know this. It's a purely selfish endeavor for me to desire for you to.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. I agree with that. So why are you doing it? Because Nick Shirley's doing it? Why don't you just say, hey, Nick Shirley, like, I know that it's kind of fucked up that this is happening to you, but, like, this is completely inappropriate that you're talking about this in public. It's not that I want to tell content creators, like, oh, you need to suffer in silence. You need to just, like, tank these death threats and, go about your day. That's not what I'm saying, okay? But your audience is not your fucking therapist, okay? These are things that you should talk about with your therapist, with trusted loved ones, and then, with those people in your life, you can come up with a plan. You can say, okay, well, I'm getting death threats, it's stressing me out, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna move, right? Or I'm gonna set up defenses, I'm gonna set up a perimeter. That's my plan, okay? That's my plan, J-Star. Y'all come for me. But, that's what you do, okay? You don't make content about it. That is, unethical. That is, pandering, okay? You're saying, oh, look at me, look at how special I am, look at how the evil woke-tard terrorists want to kill me, they're frothing at the mouth to kill me. Do you think that it's only leftists doing this? Are you insane? Are you stupid? That's a dumb question. We're talking about Nick Shirley.
But very few people actually enter into the arena. And for me, when I exposed the Minnesota fraud, I was forced to enter into that arena after everything took place. Whether between exposing billions of dollars in fraud, the riots that took place, the shootings that took place, it created a crazy atmosphere where my name was in the forefront of it. And at that time, actually, in Minnesota, you had people posting signs on street poles that said this. These were on signs in Minnesota. It says, Nick Shirley brought ice to Minnesota. He helped kill Renee Good. Do not let him in your business. If you see this man, tell him to kill himself.
Okay. That other than that last part, that's just accurate. Okay, that's just like the truth. Sorry, bruh.
This is just an example of some of the crazy stuff that was said and posted around the internet, and not on the internet, but on literal street poles.
I wonder how Nick is holding up, like, actually. He's not going to show it on camera, but I really wonder, like, deep inside, like, how he's handling, I can relate to it, so that's why I'm thinking of it.
Inside of...
Clearly not well. Okay, and look, if you're on the internet and you can't handle death threats, then I know it's fucked up. I know it shouldn't be this way, but, like, it's reality, okay? Like, if you're on the internet, if you're making content especially, but even if you're just an ordinary user, you are gonna get death threats. Okay, it may be very rare, right? If you're a lurker, or if you're purely just lurking, maybe it never happens, okay? But that's really the only time. If you post at all, consistently, any comments, anything, you will get death threats, okay? So just like, don't do it. Just don't do it. That's what I say. Okay, I'm sorry, bro, but, like, if you can't take it, then just stop. Okay, I know it's fucked up. I know it's wrong. Okay, I know that I have other reasons to want Nick Shirley to stop making content. That's true. That's true. But, like, honestly, man, if you can't do it, I would say this to anyone. Anybody complaining about, like, getting death threats, okay? If you can't take it, there is no way to stop it, okay, without more stringent regulations on what can be posted on the internet. You can't do it, and that's just not possible without like basically making the internet unusable. All right, there is a way to make platforms more liable for this kind of speech. And That's a different topic for a different time. But basically, it would be bad. And you would not like the internet. If you think it's whitewashed now, if you think the internet is, like, censored now, yeah, just wait.
Minnesota.
Just wait until that happens.
Place such as people saying Charlie Kirk needs a sequel.
He's pretty young and he's new to this, so it is. I don't think anything can prepare you for it, to be honest. Like, I think out of all the people that would have been prepared for it, I think I probably would have had the most preparation for it. And even for me, it was quite rough, I will say. I thought about quitting like many times.
Nick Shirley hate mail. He needs to be deported to Russia so he can be a Nazi there. Nick Shirley is a Nazi. Nazis don't deserve to live in the Midwest, and we are kicking them all out until their ideology is dead. You will pay for your crimes, don't worry. And at the same time, you have the people.
How dare you use this cute pic? This Skyla?
You will pay for your crimes, don't worry. And at the same time,
you know, Leaflit, you shouldn't think about quitting because you get death threats. That's fucking stupid. Every time I see death threats, I become more invigorated. I'm like, damn, I'm really pissing people off. I need to piss them off even more. They're not pissed off enough. Like, I see death threats and I'm like, I'm not getting enough death threats. I'm not getting enough of them. I got to get those numbers up. Okay, that's what I think. Okay, that's just me personally though. Okay, but Leaflit, you shouldn't think about quitting, because I understand that not everyone's like that. Most people aren't like that. Like, you know, I know you don't want death threats, but that shouldn't be why you think about quitting the internet. Quit posting, okay? What a fucking pussy reason to quit posting. It's just lame, okay? Like, yeah, you're gonna get death threats. It's YouTube. You're gonna get some death threats, okay? Just, like, chill out about it. The reason that you should consider quitting Leaflit is because your content is garbage. People are laughing at you. It's embarrassing. The only consolation is that you don't show your face. You're a VTuber. That's it. But you make disgusting, vile, racist propaganda for a pedophile protecting regime. You should be ashamed, and that's why you should think about quitting.
Watching clips of very popular streamers on the internet openly saying stuff like this.
My understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all. Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
You have people getting riled up. In fact, in Minnesota, you even had Ilhan Omar in the backwood truck bed riling.
Do you know how you solve this, like, actually? Like,
it's from
years
years
so
ago.
Fucking retarded. Like, it's unreal. You know how you solve this, actually? Lower the costs of creating more housing. That's it, because they can't do this if you do that. If you allow, like, expansion by helping ease regulations and ease up all these... Dude, none of this would be happening if the government wasn't involved. That's, like, the most annoying shit about this. Is none of...
Leaflit, how do you think they're gonna lower the cost of housing? What the fuck are you talking about? What does the cost of housing have to do with what Hassan said? And how are you gonna do that by getting the government out of the housing market? Hold on, I need to hear that again. I'm not understanding.
In their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
You have people getting riled up. In fact, in Minnesota, you even had Ilhan.
Also, I can't remember who Hassan was talking about here, but I don't even think it was fucking content creators.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
You have people getting riled up. In fact, in Minnesota, you even had Ilhan Omar in the backwood truck bed riling.
Do you know how you solve this, like, actually? Like, Hassan is so fucking retarded. Like, it's unreal. You know how you solve this, actually? Lower the costs of creating more housing. That's it, because they can't do this if you do that. If you allow, like, expansion
lower the cost of creating more housing. Okay, well, Leaflit, lumber costs money. You know, it costs a lot of money. Plumbing, electrical shit cost money. No, man, the reason that what Leaflit is saying here is stupid, it's not even because of that. It's because there is already enough housing in this country to house every homeless person, and then some. We already have the buildings, we have the capacity. It's just that a lot of houses are sitting empty because corporations buy them and they sit on them so they can sell them later. They try to rent them to people, but when they can't, it doesn't matter. Okay, because, yeah, nobody can afford the rent, okay, so you lose out a little money on that, okay, you lose a little profit. But you're just gonna sell it in a few years at like 3x markup. That's it. That's why these companies are doing it, and that's why there's so many homeless people.
By helping ease regulations.
Also, the mega corporations, they want more homeless people to exist to scare people. Okay, rich people, they love fear mongering. They love making people afraid. Okay, it makes them desperate, makes them cling on to their shitty wage job more effectively, so they can exploit them without any complaints or unionization, especially. So that's why they do it. Okay, that's it.
And ease up all these. Dude, none of this would be happening if the government wasn't involved. That's like the most annoying shit about this. Is none of this would be happening if the government didn't keep sticking their dicks in everything. Because if all they did was free up the free market would be like, oh well, people need housing. The prices of housing are too high. Like, let's just build more houses. Like,
yeah. Oh, people need housing. But the people need the more housing. There's more demand, so they're gonna make more houses. You're so fucking brain dead, dog. Okay, if that's the case, then why are there so many houses? And why are there so many homeless people? Why are there so many empty houses, Leaflit? Because I thought that it was the free market that did all this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the communist government that we live on.
Like into like the countryside and stuff, like the new communities and stuff like that. And then now the housing prices, the pressure off of the housing market like goes down because there's more available houses. And then now you have cheaper houses on the outskirts that people can move into. It's like, this is so ridiculous. Like, that's the only reason any of that works is because of the government.
Yep, protesters. They even can't.
Sorry. And his idea is to give more power to the government. Okay,
turn that shit off.
I'll share my experience with this as people are openly making threats to me as well. Now, these are just a few of them. I still get threats consistently when I go travel. I have to have security, and it's all for exposing fraud, which is a bit crazy to think that for exposing billions of dollars in fraud. Now I've exposed $2 billion fraud industries with what happened in Minnesota and also what happened in California with the hospices and the Medicare fraud that took place there.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of was slacking on the debunking of the California thing. From what I saw in his video, they caught a little bit of individual cases of fraud. They caught, like, not really, actually, more like child negligence, from what I saw. I think I watched most of that video, and the only thing of substance that he exposed was, some kids at a small daycare operation, right, running out of someone's apartment. It's basically like, random person babysitting people's kids, like eight kids. Okay, and he had them, or she or they or whatever, or sir, bam, hoo-ha. Okay, had all these kids in the little apartment. Okay, that's fucked up. Okay, that's child negligence. That's not cool. But is that like billions of dollars? Where is the billions of dollars of fraud? Because the shit in Minneapolis, that was already a developing case. You didn't expose anything. You went to random daycares and demanded to see children that aren't yours. And then when they said, no, you're a creep, you were like, this is reverse racism or some shit. I can't remember what you said. But you said some shit like that, okay? It's stupid. It's stupid. You can't just expect people to, like, show their kids to you. Like, I need to see your children. Show me your children right now. I wanna see their bodies,
and that's
so I know they're real.
Fraud that's taking place inside our country is so big and so deep.
It's ridiculous.
You're seeing it. It's very hard to unravel because that's how intertwined the fraud is. People in Minnesota have been charged, have been caught for fraud in the autism centers, in the daycare that's feeding our future. In fact, the daycare that I visited in the video that had received around $3.6 million was that daycare that was running Feeding Our Futures. And when I showed up to the daycare, there were no kids. In fact, that lady who was running that daycare even tried to flee to the United Kingdom, but
there were no kids. I didn't get to see the children.
Stopped at the airport, and then she pleaded guilty here inside the United States.
Oh shit!
So these people are getting caught. However, the prosecution.
Yeah, guilty plea means they're actually guilty. Yep.
And these arrests are taking a lot longer.
Famously, always.
But the fraud is very real, and for you to expose fraud inside the United States, you'd think it'd be celebrated, especially by the governments inside of these states. However, as you guys have seen time and time again,
especially when brown people plead guilty, that's how you know.
The person exposing the fraud.
That's how you know it's real.
Where their radicalized group,
famously, nobody does
that. They're trying to speak to, and the public that they're trying to get their votes from, then has that little subset of people who actually are radicalized, and they then go after the person exposing the fraud. While the majority of the country, I would say about more than 90% of the country, is happy that this fraud is being exposed because we all pay taxes and we don't like to see our money go to waste. However, when politicians, for instance, Governor Tim Walz, is exposed, and this billion-dollar fraud ring that's been going on underneath him is exposed, he then comes out and says that you are a white supremacist for going after the fraud. You're a delusional far-right conspiracy theorist. Mm-hmm. However, he then drops out for running for re-election because of the fraud. That's how deep it is. But yet he wants to perceive you to the public as if you're some delusional far-right conspiracy theorist, or that you're a white supremacist for exposing the fraud, because then that makes you
the classic leftist tactic. They try to tell you that you do this, but it's actually the left that does this, where they deperson people in order to make them valid targets.
Look like the bad person. Meanwhile, let's just think about what he has.
All they have is ad hominem because they have nothing else. Everything else, all of their other arguments are garbage. total shit.
Actually done. Or Ilhan Omar being in the back of a truck bed rallying up protesters to go against ICE and abolish ICE. Meanwhile, there are billions of dollars of fraud that's been taking place underneath her district. And then let's take California.
I think you mean nice. I think you mean nice. Okay, that's what they're called now. They're called nice.
For example, I go there and I expose $170 million in fraud.
They're nice
actually exposes a whole entire billion-dollar industry. Well, what does the governor do? The governor then posts an AI-generated image of myself looking like a pervert going into daycares, asking where
that is what you look like.
There were actually never any kids to start off with. However, millions and billions of dollars is being stolen from the people of California and the people of the United States, because that money is also federal money. Yet they want to make me look like the bad person for exposing that fraud. Once again, that then goes and radicalizes a small percentage of the country. Even if a small percentage of the country is radicalized,
dude. People were radicalized by that image for sure. Somebody saw that and they were like, "Oh, I gotta kill this person in this image."
That is 3 million people.
Yeah, genius.
5% of the country is radicalized, and they do believe what they hear in the news or what they hear from the people they listen to. For instance, just the idea of letting red capitalist blood soak in the streets. So then let's say that 0.5% of the country is radicalized. That is still 1.5 million people.
Are you a capitalist, Nick Shirley? What business do you own? How are you a capitalist? Like that statement shouldn't worry you if you don't own businesses, if you aren't exploiting workers, killing them for your personal gain,
large size
maiming them perhaps.
And that's a huge amount of people that are then radicalized. And when you're walking around in public spaces where there's thousands of people, all it takes is just one radicalized person to do something crazy. And when you think about that, it makes you realize how crazy the political climate here inside the United States, when you have been hearing people on the right be called Nazis, fascist, far right, everything.
And again, like I said before, you can tie this all in to how they make the perpetrators into heroes. Like they take these people that commit these vile acts and they talk about how awesome they are. What other reason would they have to do that than to encourage more of it?
To then make the radicalized 0.5, 0.1%, even if it's 0.1%, that's still 300,000 people. So you have a small percentage of the country who are quite literally radicalized into believing that they need to go out and kill you. They need to go out and stop you because you are a far-right fascist. You are a Nazi, when in reality, you are nothing even close to that. And so they use these trigger words to then radicalize a small subset of the country. And it's actually working. That's the terrifying part. We had Charlie Kirk, who was brutally and horrifically assassinated in front of thousands of people. That was just one radicalized individual who then went and took his life. You've had 4 people trying to kill.
Come on, man. It wasn't a kid. It wasn't. What was his name again? Robertson. I can't remember. My bad. It wasn't him. Okay, I remember the details of that case. He was on the roof, he fired the shot, he took his rifle apart, he changed clothes, he jumped off the roof, he put the rifle in his pants, he put it back together, he put it in his pants, he dropped it in he wrapped it in a towel, dropped it in a creek. 20 minutes later, he was eating ice cream at Dairy Queen. It doesn't make any sense, okay? This shit doesn't make any sense. It's not real, okay? He didn't do the killing. He didn't. I don't believe it. I still don't. Like, here's the thing. I don't remember all the details of the case. Maybe I got some of the specifics wrong there, okay? But I remember knowing the details of the case and thinking there is 0 chance that this kid did it. So, because no new evidence has been presented to me, I still think that. Okay? He didn't do it. He didn't do that shit. Anyway, Israel assassinated him. Obviously, it was obviously Israel.
I received messages
what are we talking
about? Saying that they're coming for me or they'd like to kill me, which is quite frankly a bit crazy when you walk the streets and all people are thankful for you for doing what you're doing, which is great to see. However, like I said, even if it's just 0.1% of the population, that is still 300,000 people. Say it's 1%, 3 million people, which is a large army. And so when you think about what's happening in the country, it actually is a bit terrifying, and we are leaving farther and farther away from just the common sense or the idea that people won't even have conversations with other people or be friends with others because of your political beliefs, which I don't even think that should be a thing. I think you should be able to have friends on the left, you should be able to have friends on the right, and at the end of the day, you can come together because when you read
but I mean, well, no, to an extent, I agree with that. I can't be friends with a Nazi. That's the classic example I go to. Like, imagine you live in the before time. Okay, with like Nazis and shit. Would you be friends with a Nazi? Do you think that would be virtuous? Because I don't think so. So then the question is, like, are there still Nazis? And the answer is, yeah. Okay, you got neo-Nazis. You got the Klan. Okay, of course. Of course, there's people. So, like, okay, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line then? Who is too radical for you to associate with? Why? What do they believe that's so wrong? Okay, and the answer is MAGA people are in a cult. They believe that Donald Trump is like God or something. and they just that I don't want to associate with them. I wouldn't be friends with a Trump supporter. And I felt this way for years. I've said this shit. Okay, I've stopped talking to people in my family over it. I ain't ashamed to admit that. Okay, I feel bad for them. I tried to help them. But, like, what can you do? You know, what can you do? You can't talk someone down from it. Or maybe you can. I don't know. But I couldn't. I didn't have any luck with it. And what's even more crazy about it is I was in the cult in the early stages. You know, I was a child, but it was certainly, I was impressionable enough to fall for it. And, you know, what else is there to say? Even I couldn't do it. If you're a regular libtard, if you're like a leftist, you don't stand a fucking chance. Okay, you can't talk someone out of being crazy. It's like, the only, well, you can, okay, maybe some of them. You have to get them to recognize what they are, what they're in. Okay, but you can't do that. You can't. The loved one of them. They need therapy. They need more than therapy. They need a psychiatrist. Okay, like they need professional, like high level professional help. Okay, that's what these people need. I can't give that to them. Neither can you. Okay, so I say, just fuck off. Okay, if you can't deal with them, if you can't put up with it, don't let them. Like, if you're not careful, the things that they say will, like, eat away at you, right? Because you can't argue with them, right? It's too tiring. They get too emotional, right? You only have so much battery, right? So you can't argue with them all the time. So then you just nod, but that eats away at you. It does, because you want to correct them. You know it's the right thing to do. But you just don't challenge them.
Constitution, I've always said, and I've looked over it and been reading it and studying it over the past few weeks, I think the most important words are the first three words that say we the people. It never said we the people on the Republican Party, we the people on the Democratic Party, we need the best for our party. It says we the people. Like, America was created to bring forth a better society, and we are the best society. Every other country had thousands of years to do it. We've had 250 years to do it, and everyone to this day wants to come here. They want to know more about the United States, and
they want to come here, but they don't want to be American. They just want the benefits of America.
Okay, this is... Dude, when conservatives say this, it's so fucking funny. It's so funny to me. And they say it all the time. Yeah, everybody wants to come here. Everybody's jealous of our freedom. Well, okay. I don't really see people climbing over each other to get here. I don't see that. Okay, yeah, there are a lot of people that want to come here, sure. Sure, maybe, probably more than any other country. But to say that, like, most people want to come here, no. Maybe it was like that in the past, like in the before times. Maybe. But they didn't have the means to get here. But people of today, around the world, all over the globe, they don't want to come to America. They hate us. They fear us. They don't want to come here. The fuck do you think they want to come here for? They can work and be exploited in their own country with their own people. You think they want to come here to do that? Like, people all over the world, they aren't as ignorant as you might assume just because they live in a third world shithole or whatever. Like, people know what's up. They know the game. They understand what it is like in America to an extent. And they don't envy us the way you think they do. They don't envy the average American. I mean, look, the most recent, like, global news that came out about us, other than the war and the blah blah blah, a couple other things, it was the Epstein files. And what's the lesson there? What's the moral of the story? Every American in the country can be up in arms about an elite pedophile, sex trafficking ring, and no one is arrested and nothing happens. Wow, yeah, I'm so envious of that. I'm so envious of that freedom. Oh yeah, I'm a Guatemalan. oh, I wish I could be oppressed by the Epstein class. Oh,
this idea of like America being, you know, this place that's bound by the ideas of the founding only works if we actually adhere to that, and we only let people in that are like that. And the idea that everybody, we've had this notion that if people come here to America, right?
I've said it before, and I've said it again. There are all over the world. There are Ameriboos. Okay, they exist, and those are the people that want to come here. Okay, they love America, and I respect that. I do, honestly. Okay, they're insane. Like, if you are Cuban, and you love America, and you want to come here, and like work, and I want to be an American, like, you're insane. Okay, and that's the most understandable version of this. Okay, because Cubans, what do they experience? Okay, they experience constant sanctions and embargo, American domination. They're just like, oh yeah, like America, they got it figured out. You know, they're like fucking us over. And what are we doing? We're like producing the world's best doctors to send to other countries. Like, oh yeah, if I were them, I'd probably be like, fuck this place. I'm going to the dominating country, you know? But like the thing is, there are people from all sorts of walks of life, all different countries and ethnicities that want to be American. And you have to be insane to want that. You have to be crazy. Just like our forefathers. By default, adhere to just like my ancestors. Okay, the people that sailed the Plymouth Rock and planted their feet on the shores, and the people that got off the Mayflower, those people were insane for what they did. Okay, and that doesn't mean that you should, you know, cast them aside. You should ignore them. Obviously not. But they were insane, okay? You gotta admit, that's crazy shit. Why would you want to be in America? In America, have to be. Adhere to those ideals. Well, I mean, there's very obvious economic reasons that people do it, right? And you know, we need to stop pretending like that's not the case.
The powerhouse of the world, essentially.
Yeah, see, no, I disagree with that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Okay, can you make more money in America? Sure, especially if you pursue higher education, STEM fields, okay, that sort of thing. But is it worth it to? But I don't think people have the same opinion that you do. I don't think whether it's true or not is kind of irrelevant, but it's actually very much not true. Like your prospects in America as an average person, right, is like a not super smart doctor in the making, right? Your prospects here are much better a lot of other places, but and especially like most Western countries, like basically any other country in the West is better for the average person. But anyway, I don't think people see it that way. I don't think they do. I think that people are kind of waking up. Like you could say this in the past, and it might be true. I don't know. I don't have data in front of me that supports that, and I wasn't alive back then. I don't know what the vibes were, but yeah, I don't agree with it.
Through the United States, the dollar is supreme for a reason, and that's because of what made America great in those first 250 years. And now for these next 250 years, what's that going to look like if we can't even have a conversation with a Democrat and a Republican? It's actually very terrifying. And I want to make this video. It's a bit different than anything I've ever posted here on this channel, but I just want to show you guys and tell you guys from a perspective of somebody who's actually living inside of the arena, not just an outsider speculating or being a critic. In fact, I'm quite frankly on the streets going about making these videos, showing what's happening inside our country. And from the perspective of just of everyday Americans, our country's so huge and diverse, and it's so big and so amazing. And the perspective and point of view you get from people out in public is what actually makes journalism great, is because you actually need the source from the people, and you don't need the source from somebody sitting behind a podcast desk. Quite frankly, you need it from the people. So that's what I personally try to do, so people can see it for what it is. And I believe President Trump said something super important after the assassination attempt just the other night. I want to play that clip right here.
Assassination.
And I must tell you, the most impactful
assassination
people, the people
attempt.
Do the most. You take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this.
This is true. People only fuck around with you if you're effective. It's the only reason they do it.
Where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We have we've taken this country and we were a laughingstock for years, and now we're the
I don't know if that's true, by the way, what you said a few seconds ago about only the movers and the shakers, only they get assassinated. I'm trying to think of someone that got shot in American history. Look, it certainly makes you a bigger target, you know, doing things and whatnot instead of being lame. But it's also not necessarily a flex. Okay? Because you could be doing shit, but you could be Hitler, right? Hitler was doing shit, but he wasn't really like a great guy. You know, anyway, like that's just my opinion, though. Leaflit has a different opinion about that, though. I would like to hear her share it once again, okay? About how Hitler was like a great guy or whatever.
Assassinated between Abraham Lincoln, MLK, John F. Kennedy, Charlie Kirk. They are going after people who are doing something good for society. They only go after the people that are actually creating impact. And for that same reason, I believe that's why people come after me for exposing fraud, because it is making an impact and it is taking down billion-dollar fraud industries.
They go after the people that will hurt them the most in terms of like their narrative, their ideology. That's what they go after. And the more impact you have, the more it's going to happen, and the worse, the further the escalation is going to be, right?
And so when you're doing something good and you're doing something impactful, a sign that you're doing something good is actually receiving pushback from the opposition, because we've learned that the fraudsters do complain the loudest, and those that are committing of crimes are also complaining the loudest because they don't want their crimes and their fraud to be exposed. And so when you're doing something impactful for the common good of the people, be ready and expect the opposition to come after you. It's just a sad reality that we are living in. I don't think that it's going to change anytime soon. In fact, it might only get worse. So I just want to share this perspective with you guys.
Yep.
And what happens in public affects what happens in the private. For instance, if people are calling you all sorts of things and creating all these sorts of narratives and lies in the public, what happens to you privately is a bit different. The perspective from outside then affects who people think you are actually. And for instance, in my case, I remember I exposed this fraud, and I remember just receiving like an onslaught of messages, both positive and negative, from people I haven't talked to in years. And some people are obviously in support, and some people are saying, like, why are you doing this? Like, what's this? Like, calling you all sorts of stuff when you're just going about doing a public service, or you have a lifelong friend who is no longer your friend for...
They say things like, you've changed or something like that. Like, what have you become? They say stuff like that, you know. I've had that too.
Simply just exposing that, or family members who just stop.
Even when it's just being more vocal about how you feel about stuff, right? It's like people are so used
to I mean, you're right. Like, you were always that way, right? You didn't, like, become something different. You hid your power level, okay? And that's how you... Leaflit, you might not realize it, but this is exactly how you became so popular. It's because you're good at dog whistling. Okay, that's it. Like you don't say the quiet part out loud, right? And that's why people didn't know. You know, don't blame them for not knowing, and don't blame them for not wanting to associate with you after you made it known who you really are. Of course, they don't want to be around that. Why? Who would? You're a disgusting, indefensible individual. And people don't want friends like that, generally. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
To people, like, especially in the last, I mean, it's getting a lot better now, but, like, in the period of, like, I want to say 2010 to 2020, it was kind of, like, that decade, it was very, very much, like, if you had any sort of conservative beliefs, it was very much, like, just shut up and don't talk about it, you know? Don't ask, don't tell, you know, if you will, right? Lead for Mark, thank you so much for 5 gifts subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Talking simply because of that. They're just friends that one day you're talking, you're having a great conversation, and before the fraud, and then you expose the fraud, and never ever to be seen again. It's just really weird stuff that happens when you go out and you do something that does make a difference. And that's just kind of the consequences, and maybe not so the consequences, but what happens when exposing the truth. And I want to share this quote while I wrap this up. There's a super powerful quote. It's by Mark Twain, actually. And it says, "The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie." That might be the most true quote I've ever read. The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. You can't convince a fool who's determined to believe a lie to believe the truth.
I mean,
in this world,
you see this happen every single day. Every single day, chat. Operator Grace, thank you so much for the rate. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nikki, thank you for the prime as well. Just ignore your way of life.
There are who's determined to believe a lie to believe the truth. In this world, there are things that are truth and stuff that is not truthful, obviously. And we must pursue those things and those actions and the beliefs that follow with truth. I'm a firm believer that there is truth and there are just stuff that's completely false in this world. And it's our responsibility to seek the truth, go after it, and pursue it. And don't be that fool who's determined to believe a lie. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you do want to help support the work that I'm doing, you can go to antifraudclub.com. There we have hoodies available, other ways for people to support as well.
You should get on TylerRaw.com, you know?
It's a crazy time we're living in, and I thought this video would bring some extra perspective to what's happening inside our country. And I guess that's it. Thank you very much. I know this video is a lot different, and we'll get back to the regular programming in just the next few days as we have even more fraud to expose, believe it or not. Peace out.
Man, yeah, that's wild. But yeah, there's so much just reading on that. But in the Shirley video, I really like it. It was a good look into kind of how things are, right? It might be very hard to that way, right? Like it's hard to really perceive. And this is why I always thought, like, you know, like Charlie Kirk and like Crowder and like these people that they do these discussions, right, on like campuses. I always thought it was really brave because they're so exposed. You know, it's just only all it takes is one person, right? And it's, you know, even compared to streamers, we're way more defended than them, right? But you think of it from, you know, this point of view, it's scary. Like you're dealing with absolute psychopaths, you know. So put them in the box. Let the walls be cold.
Yeah, man.